Afternoon. So, this is video number 2 on my Tuesday. And I know I just did a video earlier, just more so about the black man culture, but I also want to go a little deeper and I'll talk about leadership. So, you're probably like, what are we talking about as far as leaders? This is not really pertaining to like political leadership because I don't really do politics like that. And I'm not even going to say I do entertainment leaders like that either, because at the end of the day, people got their own problems, their own lives, their own things that they dealing with. But I'm just going to chime in a little bit. So the whole thing I was just saying in my last video, I was talking about how Diddy seemed, or sorry, not Diddy, 50 is trolling Diddy with this new documentary on Netflix. And I was talking about like, the whole Cameron Dame situation. I was talking about like the Jay-Z Dame Dash situation and just different stuff like that. And even the whole 50 and Ja Rule and stuff. And I was just saying these niggas need to cut it out. We need to stop. But at the end of the day, you got to remember these niggas is humans. These niggas is humans. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that they've done, like far as like their way of defaming the other person, there's really no going back from. There's no going back. And not only that, the person, okay, I'll give you an example. The whole Diddy thing. So obviously Diddy did some sadistic ass shit. So even if it was a light where he could come back and be like, like I was saying, like we need to get all our, hip hop cultural leaders in one room to just make money. But at the end of the day, it's like, who we kidding? Would you want to be in a room and give all the spacing and love and respect to somebody who's a borderline freak? Talking about Diddy, a sadistic freak. Are we supposed to respect that? Are we supposed to respect somebody being in the same room, with a bunch of other, great minds and stuff, your Jay-Z's, your Dame Dash, and your 50 Cents and all of that? Are we expecting this person to stand in the room with them and be respected? Not at all. Not at all. So this actually goes into a little deeper thing I wanted to talk about earlier, because when it comes to leaders, let's just face it. Again, they're human beings. You can only expect a human to do what they're patterned to do, what their pattern shows over and over again over time. I mean, you could try to forgive these people. You could try to shoot them bail and let them, be who they are. But at the end of the day, people are going to just do what they naturally are going to do. At one point, people would have said, hey, I rock out with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, was a college graduate, spoke at plenty of college stuff, and he was just such a good inspiration on the Cosby Show. Now he's a fucking, he just his reputation is tarnished. He's a freak. This would have been somebody you could look at as a leader. So, do you forgive these people and just say, hey, let them put them in a room? They could still rock out. Their patterns are their patterns. They do what they they. At the end of the day, money and all that power and all that respect wasn't enough to move them forward past their weaknesses. So what are we talking about? How do you forgive people? How do you forgive people? I'll tell you right now, I'm very bad at forgiving people. And I say that because it's weird, because I think I'm very, very approachable. I'm very, very nice. I'm very, very open minded to anything. But I'll give you an example. This is a guy at work. Long story short, I worked with him a few times. He's a bit of a talker. Yap, 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 yap. He sings when he ain't supposed to be singing, when we're supposed to be working. A little annoying. Yap, 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 yap. Talk, talk, talk. Then finally, his mouth got ahead of him. And this joker tried to air me out in a meeting, telling me I did something that I definitely didn't do because I wasn't even in the area to have done it. And guess what happened after that? I was done with him. I was absolutely, positively, 100% done with this dude. I shot him some bail. I gave him an opportunity to get right. He never did. Every time I gave this dude a chance, he used his pattern. Right in the foot. Right in the foot. Right in the foot. So, and then this person's not even in my culture, so this is not in line what I'm talking about, as far as like I'm still continuing with our culture, but I'm just using this as an example. Once somebody violates a moral code and ethic, and I'm not from the streets, I'm not even going to sit up here and hold you that I'm a street person and stuff, but I do kind of follow by street rules. And street rules is say less, keep your mouth shut, and don't be airing nobody out, especially to some kind of authority. This dude aired me out in a fashion that he was trying to make himself look better than I was to an authority figure. So that was a check mark against him. Now, forgiveness. Should I forgive him? It's not like I'm gonna go to jail, or he didn't get me fired or nothing, or whatever. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna go to jail. I'm not dead. I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose a family member. So, should I forgive him? And I feel like I could. So, how do you forgive people? You just got to recognize patterns for people. You got to understand that people, you could, I guess, you could forgive somebody. That ain't necessarily mean that you got to like them. And you can let them know that. You can be like, hey, yo, I'm going to forgive you for your transgressions against me. I don't like you, though. But we got to work together, so I at least got to respect your work ethics. This dude actually works hard. He works hard. I just don't really have no outside feelings for him. The other thing is, if it's a matter of working together and accomplishing the same goal, forgiveness has to be in place. Now, could I rule this out for, say, hip hop and our leaders when you think about how they're actually from the streets, and a lot of these dudes are out here like, well, you violated in so many different ways. You violated in this way and that way, and in the streets you'd be dead or you'd be in jail or whatever the fucking case may be. I would just tell you, but if you're in entertainment, and if your guys are trying to accomplish a great goal of being successful and uplifting the culture, you can forgive that person. Now, does society forgive this person? Can like society actually forgive Diddy? Can society actually forgive whoever, Bill Cosby, and move on, and we put these dudes in the same room and they get something done, be leaders and stuff? That's up for society to judge. And these are just examples. I know Bill Cosby's far past his time, but I'm just talking about like him, these dudes that were at one point, role models. He was my role model growing up. So, can we forgive each other as black men and see that we elevate to the next plateau? That's the question. I think we can. Now, are we going to do it? No. We're lost. We're lost and in prison to our own codes. We believe in our codes and our pride and our ego so much that we don't want to forgive each other. We just keep slandering each other, throwing each other under the mud, and we can't grow. So here's what I'll tell you. I'm not going to say I have all the answers in this video to tell you forgiveness is something that we should start doing and we can change things and stuff, because I guess I'd be, having to, I would have to honor my own stuff, and again, I'm working on it. But at the end of the day, if we did do this, how elevated we would be as a culture and how far we would get. If we could just put our differences aside and say, hey, it's for the culture. Kind of like what Nas and Jay-Z did when they came together after their beef. And, I know it was years down the line, but they came together and made some money together. Made some good music together. So that's all I'm saying is like, how do we as a culture learn how to forgive each other and press the play button for elevation? Is it possible? Can we do it? It's tough. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I mean, usually I'd be on here trying to say, hey, this is a tip, this is what you should do. And again, I'm not no expert. I just try to throw in how I think. But at the end of the day, and, my thoughts are not always the thoughts of other people. And there's always a lot of background and backstory behind a lot of the stuff that be going on in people's lives and stuff. So I can't sit up here and hold my thoughts and my advice accountable for everybody else's actions. Some people are just fucked up in the head and got a lot of shit that runs deeper than what your little tiny advice could, put out. So that's it. 13 minutes in. Like, comment, sub. I'll do some more videos today. This will be video number 2. Just trying to think if there was any updates I have for you guys. I think that's it. See you guys on the next video. Peace.